Hello everyone, welcome to Game On Reactions, and I just cannot understand all the negativity that is surrounding Arsenal after what should be considered an absolute tactical masterclass by Mikel Arteta. Listen, I'm saying that I'm not even. I think most people know how I feel about Mikel Arteta, but I think you have to give credit where credit is due. I think that game at the Emirates was a game that gave a lot of confidence to the Arsenal team. So going to the Etihad, it felt like the Arsenal team had arrived. I was always saying this with some of my friends, and I said, listen, you need to go into the Etihad game with momentum. Momentum is key. You can't be limping your way into the Etihad game the way that we did last season, and we suffered for it. I think this game we're a lot matured. If we'd taken our chances in this game the way that we did against Man City at the Emirates, we could have come out with a much more favorable result. Now, it's now Liverpool's to lose, right? And Liverpool just have this habit of nicking out victories in very difficult positions. And, you just think that the luck is going to run out. You think the luck is going to run out at some point because they just cannot sustain that for the next 9 games. Or can they? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. But my thoughts is this: Arsenal, came out of that game, more importantly, psychologically intact. I think the game plan, was very, very, implemented by the players. I think the players knew exactly what their jobs were, and they executed that job. I mean, Manchester City had a lot of players that played below par, or should we say, Arsenal made them play below par. I think of the players that, really shone. Bernardo Silva still did his thing. He gave Kivior a very difficult time down there, and that was a little bit surprising because I didn't think that he would have, had so much joy. But it wasn't pace. I think it was just the skill. You just never know, what Bernardo Silva was going to do. He's go with his left leg, go with his right leg, So I think Kivior was just always guessing as to what direction Bernardo was going to go. So the fact that Jesus came back to help him a lot during that game was really, really good. So I think what we had there, was our wingers really, really coming back, to help. And which meant that we really needed, someone who could hold the ball up for just a split couple of seconds, just to allow us to get off the pitch. It was very difficult, albeit we were playing against a Man City side. And let's just not forget, this Man City team is a team that has beaten literally everyone to the Premier League in the last 7-8 years. Liverpool have only been able to steal one, Premier League title throughout the time, and that's just ridiculous. Like, if you just think about it, how can a team be so dominant? And year after year, they are always towards the end of the season fighting for the title. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you just cannot script it. Man City, howbeit, actually, they didn't go into that game, with a lot of form. And the thing is that everyone, disregards it because they've drawn, including Arsenal now, 3 of their last 6 games. But everyone's still saying, well, it's Man City. We've seen them do this. And this is what you get. When you have done it before, it gives people, belief. People want you to do well. People are kind of aspiring for Manchester City, even though they're not Manchester City fan. People are saying Manchester City is going to do it. Why? Because they've done it before. Now, Arsenal have not done it before, so there is no reason, why anyone should think so. But there are a couple of reasons I'll give to you why Arsenal is going to win the league. Let's just look at what they've done, in terms of improvement. If you look at the stats will tell you that Arsenal have improved from last season to this season. They don't concede as many chances as they did. So the keepers are facing, less shots. I mean, that brings, to the topic about whether Ramsdale was going to be replaced by Raya. Because really, could Ramsdale have operated in this, defense where we're actually not conceding a lot of shots? I think he would have. But let's not digress there. But let's look up at the defensive record. Arsenal have done very, very well defensively in the last 9 games. Actually, they've conceded, I think, 4 goals, and they've, scored about 33. That is just ridiculous, right? If you kind of look at that and put that among title winning teams, it'll be right up there. So that is one reason why Arsenal is going to win the league. The second reason why they're going to win the league is because their players are coming back. Now we got Partey, who's been out for most of the season, and let's be honest, right? Before we had Declan Rice, we're all praying for Partey to be fit and play the Arsenal games. He wasn't, but now we've got him back, and I like the fact that he came on against Man City. That pass to, the pass before the pass, the pass to Odegaard that went to Martinelli, not Martinelli, Trossard, that could have stolen that game, literally stolen that game, was a pass by Partey. If you remember back in the Emirates, it was the Partey pass that went over, and then Tomiyasu was there to knock it down, for Martinelli to swipe that on via deflection. So there was a pattern there. Maybe Arteta, was actually trying to orchestrate the same sort of result that he got in Emirates, and he almost pulled it off. That's another reason why I think that Arsenal is going to win the league, because their players are coming back. The third reason why I think Arsenal can win the league is if you look at the fixtures. All the teams that are left for Arsenal to play are teams that Arsenal have beaten in the last season. I know you say that was last season, doesn't mean anything. But actually what that tells you is that those teams, Arsenal don't have any fear towards them. I think that Arsenal can go in all the away games. You've got Brighton there, you've got Spurs, even Spurs, you've got there some grounds that Arsenal, basically what they've done, and I used to joke about this, that, Arsenal go on this revenge boss tour, in places and teams where they have not won or where proved difficult for them. So every season there's always that. There's the Arsenal team, going to the likes of, Newcastle, going to the likes of Crystal Palace, going to the likes of Brentford, teams that have notoriously been very difficult and getting a result. I think that Arsenal will get results against Brighton, get results even against Spurs. I watch the Spurs team and they can be got. That game against Spurs earlier in the season, it's a Jorginho error that led to Son, equalizing. We could have won that game. I know there's a rivalry game in the Spurs-Arsenal, but I still believe that Arsenal can go, to White Hart Lane and get a result. And then you now have the bogey team, Manchester United. All Arsenal fans remember the 49 unbeaten run, how we just seem that every time we go to Old Trafford, we don't seem to be getting with the right results. Remember also, the game at Old Trafford, the referee called, back, a goal that was scored, by Martinelli because there was a foul by, Odegaard. I mean, listen, we've had a lot of bad luck when we go to the Old Trafford, even when we play well. That is the one game that I look and I say, I think that when Arsenal goes there, Manchester United will be fighting for something, maybe trying to get into Europe, maybe, I think fourth place is really out of reach for them. So I think that they will potentially just be fighting to get back into Europe. So that's what's needed, especially with the new ownership coming in. We expect that they will be trying to do, something there. So that game, I put a pencil mark on it and say, if we arrive in that game needing a result, I think that we can do it. I just want us to, approach every single game. We've got the team. We have no excuses. I know that Liverpool are in front, but I look at that Liverpool, they're conceding chances. One day a team is going to punish them. Brighton wasn't that team, over the weekend. Liverpool managed to get themselves over the line. And of course, because you have Salah, you always have a chance. But I just look at, some of the away games that Liverpool have got as well. And I think that, there would be better teams that they will play. And because they concede chances, they can actually lose those games. So, hey, listen, let me know what you think, about the reaction. I think it was a great result for Arsenal, not losing to Man City, but more importantly, not giving a psychological edge to Man City as well. Listen, this season has been a success. We now look at Bayern, Arsenal. Listen, they can do something against Bayern. Let's not write that game off. But one game at a time. It's Luton, on Tuesday, I believe, or might be Wednesday that we play Luton. I think it's the 3 points. That's what you need to do. You win against Manchester City. Well, you not win, but you win against Luton after a result and a performance that you had against Manchester City. It was always going to be difficult. International break, breaking the momentum for Arsenal, but coming back and showing that this season, Arsenal could actually lift it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe. It's Game On Reactions.